How you doing, my friends? Quite a night. I am home now after spending the day at Sphere in Las Vegas for Noche UFC, and it was quite the show. But I got to be honest, I was wondering during that preliminary card, is this it? What I thought I saw on the walkthrough I was given and what I was seeing on the prelim card had me a little worried because I'm going, wow, did I overplay this? Um, so let me go through the show and the card and everything else because I want to get this right. Um, so we got there early. They let the media in fairly early. The press doors opened at 2:30, and the first fight wasn't until 4:30. So we had a 2-hour window, and we weren't allowed down to the floor for the longest time. It wasn't until I would say maybe 4:10, 4:15 Pacific time. So about 20 minutes before the show was supposed to start, before we could actually get into the arena and see what it looked like. And when you first walked in and you see the scope of it, it was the big octagon that they used, and it looked tiny in there because that venue is so freaking big. And when you walk in, I saw the wall, and it was kind of an orangish red color when we first walked in, and you see it, and you go, "Whoa!" And you just imagined what was going to happen as the fights went on, and we all heard Dana White talk about this being the best live sporting event that we would ever see. And so I kept thinking, all right, when this thing starts, we're going to see it. And then during the preliminary fights, it pretty much stayed the same. It said Noche UFC in the middle, and it looked like there was some metal structures behind, and that was it. And it wasn't really spectacular. And I kept waiting for something to happen. And then the main card happened, and I saw what they were talking about. It was really, really, really incredible. And you felt like it felt like things were in 3D, right? So the sphere is curved, and the wall is giant. I don't have the paper in front of me, the size of the wall, but it is a massive, massive wall. And so, like, when at one point there was a wall that fell down, and you kind of wanted to duck away because you thought the stuff was going to hit you. And early on, it looked like there was video boards on opposite ends where they were playing the fight action, and it looked like that was tied to a screen, but that was actually just part of the video. It was embedded in, right? It was like picture in picture into the sphere screen. And at one point later in the show, they made it look like it was held up by wood. Um, in the middle between where those two screens were, they played the movies and whatnot that were going on. But what was really cool, they did the tail of the tape, and they had the fighters that were about 40 feet tall with the tail of the tape in between. And that was really spectacular. And what happened was, the card started off slow. Raul Rosas Jr. won a unanimous decision in the first fight, and there was nothing spectacular about that. Joshua Van won another unanimous decision over Edgar Chairez in the next fight. It was a little bit better fight, but it still wasn't like this crazy, fight that was going to, we all thought we were going to see. Kind of started to get an idea of a Ketlin Sosa, her win over Yasmin Yaragi. That was really impressive. She knocked her down with a punch. Boom! Had her hurt and immediately went for the choke. And boy, did she squeeze that choke, and she choked Yaragi out. And so that was impressive, and she actually won a Performance of the Night bonus for that. And it started to build, right? The fight started getting better. And I thought that the only fight after the early couple that really was terrible was the women's flyweight title fight. Valentina Shevchenko's game plan, obviously, in that fight was to take Alexa Grasso down and kind of neutralize her on the ground. And she had like 14 minutes and 49 seconds worth of control time in a 25-minute fight. And it just made for an awful match. There was a couple times where Alexa was trying to fight off her back. One point she had a guillotine. I don't know how close it really was. Another time she was going for a Kimura. But for the most part, it was Valentina taking Alexa down, holding her there. Diego Lopez, who had a nice win over Brian Ortega, he actually coached Alexa. And he had said, I asked him what happened to her afterwards, and he said he thought she froze. And that was the same thing that I asked Dana about Sean O'Malley in the main event. This seemed to be O'Malley's coming out party, a good opponent in Merab Dvalishvili, a big venue, a hype fight card. Everybody was talking about this, and he's the star of the show. And he came out to Lupe Fiasco's superstar. And I kept thinking, O'Malley's going to go out there and he's going to, keep range, keep Merab at the end of his jab, and then land something big and end the fight and bring the house down. And, Merab did what Merab does. He was pressuring, he was moving, he was coming in. And he was just constantly, going at O'Malley. And O'Malley acted like he was surprised by it. And he really didn't have a game plan for it. He hurt him with a kick to the body in the final minutes of the fight. And then he tried to land a couple more of those, to try to get a late dramatic knockout. But he wasn't able to do it. And Merab won the championship. So we had two new championship winners on the night, in Valentina Shevchenko regaining her championship and Merab Dvalishvili winning the men's bantamweight championship with a 48-47 twice and 49-46 verdict over Sean O'Malley. I actually had that 49-46 in favor of Dvalishvili. I gave the last round to O'Malley because he hurt Merab with those kicks to the body, but yeah, I'll tell you what, that was, that was something to see. But the Sphere was the star of the show. I think a lot of people kind of knew it was going to be that. And it was really amazing once that main card started. I mean, it was overload for the emotion and the senses. There was things coming at you from all over the place. It was really incredible, something to see, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm glad I got a chance to be a part of that. Glad I got a chance to witness that and see. Have that experience, because it was a spectacular show. The fights, like I said, with the exception of the Shevchenko fight, really lived up to it, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. I hope you guys got a chance to see the pay-per-view and could experience some of what I was fortunate enough to be able to see. But it was a lot of fun. I will have more video content coming up in a few days. Please like and subscribe this video. Feel free to comment. I will reply to your comment if at all possible. I will do that, and get a friend to subscribe too. I really would appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this channel, and I got a lot of plans to make things even better than they are right now. I appreciate all the support from everybody. Anyways, folks, I appreciate you greatly. We will have much more following up on this show, and a lot more in the coming weeks ahead. So appreciate y'all. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. Be well.